1. We're rolling. Hey, what's good, everybody? I haven't seen you guys in a while, man. I don't think I've had a Interlude interviews in a long ass time. I believe this is the 7th edition, but this is off of Naoto's Interlude. What it do? Salute. How's it going? I got a very special guest with me today. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Thom from GrimeyMTL.
Thom from Grimey.
Or
Thom
Grimey.
from Grimey, yeah.
Yeah, just from
Grimey.
Grimey.
Hey, GrimeyMTL, repping MTL, but also
100%.
he's about to take it global. So what do we have here behind the camera? Who's behind?
Oh, the mystery
behind
magic man.
Yeah, exactly. Behind
Am
the
I coming
third
through
mic.
loud and clear?
The coveted third mic. What's good?
It's good. I'm just gonna be your little audio technical guy and get you some whatever you guys need up on the screen.
Yeah,
There you go.
we got a screen man. We
Oh,
got
yeah.
a whole screen man.
yeah.
The whole production's
We're prepped.
leveling up.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
impressed by this whole setup.
It's weird. I did not think that it would turn out like this, but you know what I mean? Like, I'll pretend that it was planned.
Podcast is coming up.
Exactly. We're leveling up only. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Damn. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
What you been working on?
Lately,
Yeah, lately.
so we have like a new capsule coming out called
Yeah.
Stay Away.
Yeah. Actually, before we get into that,
Yeah.
let's, for anybody that doesn't know about Grimey, let me know what the brand is exactly for the people that are out there. We're going to have product shots. As you can see, this guy is wearing a dope-ass t-shirt, Grimey tee. You already know. But
Yeah.
yeah, let me know what your brand's all about, what the ethos is, and
How to
the
start.
DNA and how it started.
How it started, yeah. I mean, I guess it has transformed a lot from the beginning to where it's at now. But the main mentality is just, it's a hard question, bro. It's a loaded question.
Absolutely.
But I'll explain how we started. Basically, it was me and like a group of friends who were all in bands, and just kind of we had this little underground scene going on, very specifically with a bar called Crowbar,
Yeah.
which kind of doesn't exist anymore, and it's like its own story.
Shut up.
Shout out Crowbar, seriously. But basically, there was a bunch of talent all pulled together. We were all super young,
Yeah.
and then I was kind of like, hey, we should kind of try stepping this up and leveling it up.
Yeah.
So I kind of built the collective, and then like founded Grimey or whatever. So we did a lot of shows. We had an initial T-shirt,
Yeah.
which was like the Barney guy with the GrimeyMTL on top, and we were just kind of like doing a lot of that. Like our second show or our third show was Robfest,
Right.
So that
Right.
was like
Cool.
the owner of Crowbar.
Yeah.
So it's just been like a lot of evolution throughout, and I don't know what Grimey is. It's just it's a brand for everybody.
For sure,
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah.
the
And
children.
what kind of band? What kind of band was this that you were in?
My personal band was called Dep Wine,
Yeah.
which is this tattoo right here.
Oh, okay.
and-
Dep wine.
Yeah, and in
that's
Montreal,
brilliant,
like for
yeah.
people who are not from
Yeah.
here, like that's what everybody drinks, or more or less.
Well, it's what you start off drinking. You can't afford better wine.
Yeah.
or you
Absolutely.
don't know better wine.
A Dep is basically like a corner store, so
Like
it's
a
like
7-Eleven
it's like
or-
bodega
yeah.
corner store wine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's you know
the cheap stuff.
It's pretty big here. Everyone has
Yeah,
a bottle
yeah,
of
yeah.
something around.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Water
All the
what was
time.
it? Wallaroo.
Yeah, Wallaroo Trail.
Wallaroo
Yeah,
Trail.
That was the
always.
classic iconic
Gotta-
one.
Yeah,
Riding
with
the
the
trail.
kangaroo and everything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn, Dep wine. And what kind of music did you guys make? Was it like mostly like punk music?
We like called ourselves Doom Punk.
Yeah,
So
cool,
it was like,
cool.
and I feel this to be true for a lot of the Montreal bands, artists, whatever. It's like this doomy kind of gloomy esque feeling.
Right.
But paired with like high energy,
Right.
You know, so that was
Right.
a lot what Dep Wine was doing. But I also feel that for a lot of the bands that are like currently doing stuff,
For sure.
and a lot of the artists doing stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you know, like the thing that I've noticed with Grimey is that it just has this rebellious energy behind it, you know, and I think what's like great about the brand is that it seems like you guys are constantly trying to knock down doors and figure out, okay, how can we make this bigger, and
Totally.
how can we really connect with this, because you know, while you do say that the brand is for everybody, it seems like it just has a certain specific energy behind it.
right.
Like,
I mean, it's
I,
like
I wouldn't know if it's like rebellious, but yeah, what do you think about
no.
that?
There's definitely a sense of rebellion because
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the age and what was going on, and
Yeah.
just the mentality of a lot of people who are in the surroundings just felt
Yeah.
that way, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like very naturally. And the community and collective aspect, like that's why I say it's for everybody, because maybe it's not for everybody's like taste,
Right.
but everyone can be a part of it if they
Absolutely.
wanted to, you know what
Absolutely. It's a very inclusive
Yeah, 100%.
brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, man, because like it's wild.
I mean,
Like,
I don't want to interrupt too much, but I've
all good.
seen I've been to some of the shows and stuff like that, and there's always like an eclectic mix of people.
Yeah,
like,
huge
there's
mix,
always-
which
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
I don't want it to just be punks and
Right.
just hip hop.
And I like
heads,
that you
know?
guys
It's a
like,
good mix.
like moved into like hip hop and everything. and
For
stuff
sure,
like that.
because for me it was the same mentality, so
Right,
it was just inevitable.
absolutely. And what would that mentality be? Just kind of like breaking the mold and like
Yeah, just really doing your own thing, truly like not caring. You know
For
what
sure,
I mean?
for
Like
sure.
doing it for you, and it's hard. You know what I mean? Navigating
Yeah.
your own path, basically. You know, DIY. We have a lot of a DIY mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything has been done like in house. Like I used to have a few people help me out, but it's been me for a good little while now. But everything is done by us. You know what I
sure,
mean?
for
And
sure.
friends and people who are in the collective help out. It's
Yeah.
very like community oriented.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the brand so strong, is that the people that are a part of it really are a part of it. You
Yeah,
know?
for
Like,
sure.
I wanted to ask you this: what are the shows like?
Oh, the
I don't
shows
think
are dope.
Yeah, what kind of? So you guys mentioned you guys like play like punk and hip hop music.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting mix.
Yeah.
Of music, but I'm guessing it's like very high energy.
High energy,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like good live music.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
you walk into the show and there's an energy around the people, around the performance. You know, yeah. But
What was
obviously,
the
'cause
last live show?
I was just gonna say because of Corona, we
been
haven't
a
been able
fat
to do
minute, yeah.
any shows.
Oh, okay, so it's been like a consistent like thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
cool.
the first thing that
Yeah,
Grimey did
yeah.
was a show, and we dropped a T-shirt at that show.
Right.
So
right.
those two things have been kind of the essence of Grimey.
Intertwined. I mean that makes sense. I think that's where, you know, a lot of okay, I'm gonna talk mad shit. You don't have to say anything. I'm gonna talk mad shit, but I think this is where a lot of, you know, organizers events, they kind of fuck up, or people that have clothing brands, because they kind of just put each thing out there individually, and then, you know, it's like you're not using the synergy of multiple things
True.
to like really connect with people. Because I mean, I know mad people that are just like dropping a t-shirt and then just hoping that it catches on in the wind.
Yeah, 100%.
But
honestly, it's a pretty frustrating process sometimes.
I'm sure.
Because like I love doing the T-shirts. It's probably like the funnest part,
Yeah, yeah.
designing stuff
Yeah.
and putting out
Yeah.
like something that you feel passionately about.
For sure.
But it's tough, man. Like I don't know. It's I just see like the T-shirt as like a canvas, right? And I know it sounds cheesy, but it's
Yeah.
true. Like
Yeah.
that is the current thing that we're putting our art on, and that's what everyone can have access to. You know, it enforces the community mentality because everyone
Absolutely.
can physically, tangibly have it.
Absolutely.
And
What I was saying, you were saying before, like buying a shirt at a show. I'd much rather buy a shirt at a show or at kind of like a place where I can get a drink and chill and hang
Totally.
out, like you did with the last drop, and
Totally.
like then I don't want to wait in line at a store. Like,
No.
you know what I mean? Like
Also,
right now,
another
like,
thing, it's like I find that most t-shirt designs for that are just most like, I mean, like I wouldn't call it merch. It's like, yeah, just most t-shirt designs are like the brand logo right here,
Yeah,
and
for
that's
sure.
it. That's
I mean,
it.
there's not that many good designs out there. There's a lot of repetitions, a lot
Absolutely,
of you know.
absolutely. And I mean, it's hard, right? Because it's like, again, if you try to dip into multiple disciplines,
Right.
you're like, you might just, you know, you might not focus too hard on one.
Right.
And then you might just be like, oh, whatever, we need to put something out there, and you'll just do it to put something out there. But to go back to what you said earlier about how you view your shirts as sort of like a canvas, I think we were having this type of conversation too when for me, I was talking about streetwear, and then you're like, no, actually, I view my like the articles of clothing I create as art.
Yeah.
Now, how important for you is it to hold it up in that way? And you know, I'm gonna add a comment to it afterwards, but I just want to get your thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how important it is for me to view it as art.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very important because I just naturally view it as art. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, if we were to just put our logo onto everything and bang out a bunch of products, I mean, the most similar thing to that would be our Essentials collection, which we did last December.
Yeah.
And people loved it. You know what I mean? Because up until then, all of our stuff was weird designs, weird pieces of art on T-shirts, and shows. You know what I mean? All that stuff we've been talking about.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's very important for me. I do see it as genuine pieces of art. Like every piece we put out.
I'm guessing this is sort of like an attitude that you've had towards clothing for a while, right?
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
before having a brand or whatever.
Were you
know?
hesitant to do the Essentials collection with just the logos?
Well, at first I had a much more detailed set of designs, and I had a few of the Essentials things as part of it. Right. But basically the designs I'm bringing into the new Stay Away capsule, which is dropping soon, and I kept the Essentials to just Essentials, and people loved it, and I loved it. Obviously,
it was super clean. It was the most like fully put together. I felt.
I mean, after I physically produced them and I was putting them on, whatever, you realize how awesome it
clicks,
is. You know? Yeah.
Right. Why were you sort of like? It seems like you're a little bit apprehensive towards it in the beginning. Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I really never want to do basic stuff with Grimey. I always want to, think about how we could just do something a little bit differently,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no, that makes sense. But yeah, like that's really, and I mean that's just like sort of like a testament to how strong the brand, the design of the branding, just like the basic branding is.
For sure.
And
it was good because we put out like our core colors, like purple and green, with the first sticker we put out. So it was, I know, it was like you were reminiscing upon everything once you see the designs like printed and stuff. Cool. It was cool. Yeah.
How does it feel to see people just around the world, not just in the city, but around the world wearing your designs?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's like
I don't know if I told you this, but I was at the canal and I saw this chick rocking the Missing Milk shirt.
Yeah, I mean,
and I had no idea who she was. It was the first time I saw it. Never seen this person before in my life.
Be like 100% honest, it shocks me. Like I'll drive around and I'll see someone in a Grimey shirt and I'm like, oh, I don't know this person. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it just gives you motivation. That's it.
No, for sure.
It's like a positive motivator. That's it.
Yeah, no, I do feel that. I mean, look, when I was at Katra, I remember just walking around and just seeing a bunch of people with like grimy design. I'm just like, wow,
that's dope. I love that.
At the Katra show?
Yeah, just like people
in Vancouver,
here.
Yeah, no, and especially lately, I've noticed it a lot more too. You walk down, there's like for me, it's interesting when it's people I really don't even know.
Yeah.
Because we sell online, so like there's a chance that there's like a little bridge, right? Where if I'm not selling it to you in person or at a pop-up or something like that, I don't really know who you are.
Yeah. You also don't seem like the kind of person that would go up to somebody wearing your design being like, hey, by the way, I made this.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
That would be mad weird.
Want me to
but you're
sign
like,
it?
No. You're,
Can I swear, by the way?
So
you can swear.
That's so antithetical, though, to like who you are.
Exactly. That'd be so lame.
So can we talk about something?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I don't like sometimes. I don't want to be like overly hateful, but about the fashion industry, it's very egotistical, and there's a lot of ego in it. You know,
definitely.
As like, whatever, if Grimey is hype, whatever, I don't want it to be ego based. I still want it to be based in genuine thought and genuine creation. You know what I mean?
Because I think once it becomes ego based, that's when you've lost the identity of it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, I think, it's a lot of people talk about like, oh, Supreme was a skateboarding brand in the beginning, but it's like when you look at the word Supreme, it's just ridiculous and so like maximal. Like I think that part of it, like the ridiculous collaborations and all that, all throughout the decades, I think that's just always been a part of that brand
for sure
the whole time.
For sure.
And it was just like that brand, for example, is very and has always been ego based. I think like the first thing that ended up popping off for that brand was like, I think it was like the Raekwon shirt, I think. Or
I remember that.
Yeah, like or like the Wu-Tang shirt, like where it's just they're just wearing like a shirt that just says Supreme. Like that, when you think about the idea of that shirt, like that's just all ego. You're just advertising people wearing the basic shirt.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's
But at the same
wild,
time, I must say I respect Supreme.
I do too.
You know, and I
do
like
too,
I
yeah.
like some of their designs.
Yeah.
We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
And like he informed me that it's like 50% of their company was bought out by somebody else. I didn't know that.
By a venture
Yeah.
capitalist.
But I mean,
yeah.
that's recent. They've
Yeah.
been doing stuff since 1994.
Yeah. Yeah.
They kind of paved a lot of a way, and I have respect for that, you know?
I was just kind of saying like how I feel like they're slightly falling off because since
sure.
then, I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know.
And my take on it would be like they didn't fall off. They just they hit a plateau, and they've kind of stayed at that plateau.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna go. They've hit it. You know what I mean? Like
What'd you think about the My Bloody Valentine shirts?
Oh, I thought those were pretty cool.
yeah,
Actually,
like my brother really like
'Cause
my
I love that
brother's-
album.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that band. So
My brother's like not even into Supreme, and then he was like, I just really want like this is cool like a band merch.
yeah,
you
my
know,
buddy
so-
copped some of it. It's actually cool.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
good,
really
good T-shirt.
Just bring it back to Grimey for a second.
Yeah,
but,
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I never knew how did the sticker competition come about.
Oh, so that was just it was the first year we started it. We were just like trying to find good ways to, I don't know, I guess promote the brand and have
Right.
more inclusivity so that anyone could submit.
Right.
And
Right.
we were getting like a few international submissions, but all mostly Montreal. And it was just people like anyone could submit, anyone could win. Once you win, we print like
Yeah.
I think at the time it was like 1,000
Yeah.
your stickers.
Yeah.
Now it's probably more.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get like a bunch of stickers. You get like a free piece of merch, free show entries for a year. And it's just like, I don't know, trying to build the community a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah, for
enforcing that mentality through
sure.
a competition.
No, I thought it was great. That was one of your better
Yeah.
kind of. I don't know if you want to call it an initiative, but that's definitely one of your
That's
better.
Yeah, that was a good
definitely
idea.
the
It was
word
cool.
I was going to use for that. But
Yeah.
how many submissions you get the first time around? Like
I forget. Maybe like, it was pretty low. Like
yeah.
20, 25 submissions.
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
something
And then
like that.
now it's just like every year it just keeps growing.
It
and
keeps growing, yeah.
right? Yeah.
And we have,
Yeah.
I'm still designing. So like they submit a character ideally, and then we kind of work it a little bit.
For
throw
sure,
in a
for
bit
sure.
of our grimy stuff.
For sure.
And we both agree on what is going to be good, you know?
Yeah, definitely. No, that's really awesome that you have that collaborative aspect going. you
Yeah,
know,
100%. I love collaborating. I
for
mean,
sure,
with like-minded people, it's the best. It's one of the funnest parts of the job.
Exactly. But would you do a what if Louis Vuitton like came up to you tomorrow and they're like, "Yo, could we run a collaboration with Grimey?"
If Louis Vuitton came to my door
Yeah.
tomorrow, it would have to. Okay,
That
I
would be
probably,
tricky,
I would
right?
probably say yes.
Yeah.
But it would have to be like we'd have to have a lot of control over
Definitely,
what gets put out. You know.
Because I think at that point they'd probably try and be like, "No, we need like 90%."
And I don't think that'll ever happen because they did it with Supreme, whatever. That's
Yeah,
like
exactly,
The
exactly.
iconic little
Yeah,
thing, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's them dipping their feet into streetwear,
For sure,
saying
for
like,
sure.
"Hey, we're modern, we're hip," and
Definitely.
then I don't know if they're gonna do that shit again.
Definitely, yeah. I don't think they will for a very, very long time.
But it'd be
It's-
funny. I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. The Grimey logo with the Louis Vuitton pattern inside.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh man. Okay. Pat has your site on the screen, and
Yeah.
that just kind of reminded me. You got Trippie Red
Mm.
to wear. Man, how did
3 times.
Yeah, 3 goddamn times.
Yeah, that
Like,
was fun.
How did that feel? You know what I mean?
That one was a
and how
shock
that come
a
up?
little bit.
And how that come about?
So I won't give too many details, but
For sure.
the funnest part about it was that it came out really naturally.
Right.
And everyone who's worn our stuff,
Right.
who are on a slightly higher caliber in the States, whatever,
Right.
it's always come out like
Yeah.
very naturally. Like somebody that I know just gives them a shirt.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, you like this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they end up wearing it on stage, or
Yeah.
they post it on their Instagram, like with Trippie.
Man, that's awesome.
So yeah, essentially, yeah, I gave it to a buddy. He gave it to him who was seeing him live, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he took the whole pack. He wore it 3 different times, posted it on his Instagram. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Man, that's awesome. That's really cool that he
Yeah.
like, he gravitated towards it, like, and that must be like a really great indicator of, how well just the brand's been going so far.
For sure.
Right?
For
Like,
sure.
Because it's all about building momentum.
And what's cool is that it's artists I actually respect. Like I like Trippie Red. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Like,
and
my little
like,
brother listens to him. My little brother actually
Yeah.
put me on to a lot
Yeah.
of the new
Yeah, yeah.
age shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
Which
sure,
is
for
super
sure.
cool.
How old's your little brother?
He just turned 19 yesterday.
Okay,
So happy
cool.
birthday,
Happy
Chris.
birthday.
Shout
Happy
out
birthday,
to you.
Chris.
Shout out,
Everybody go
Shouts
shout
out.
out Chris.
Yes. Hey, type in the comments. Shout out Chris.
Yeah, do it.
But man, like that's really cool. I mean, do you have like do you have anybody else that like shows you music, or how do you find music? Because I find that you have like a pretty like wide array
For sure.
of, like, you know, of tastes.
I mean, it's developed over the. I used to listen to a lot of old school punk stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of doomy, sludgy stuff,
Right,
you know, which is
right.
what my band was kind of about.
Right.
And then all the new stuff, I was just kind of like blown away, you know, with
Yeah.
like an X and Lil Peep, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of developed, and now it's just an eclectic mix of shit. You know what I mean? And I guess
Yeah.
people who show me music, still my little brother puts me on to little stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always open to listening to new stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
My roommate, the guys in the 999 show me good shit. My buddy Jordan, who used to be in Grimey, shows me good, like, old school rock, not old school rock shit, but new age old school rock shit. Like, it's hard to describe, you know, but like bands like
Definitely.
Whores and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
There's a lot of cool shit going on, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not even the best at finding the new stuff, you know, honestly. So it's great when people send me stuff, and I'm like, this is great,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's good that you're like receptive towards
For
you know
sure.
new music that like people send to you and everything. I think like I don't know. I'm finding this more as I'm getting older, but like a lot of people are stuck, like end up getting stuck with their previous states. Like
Totally.
I mean like their previous like tastes, not states, but tastes.
Totally.
Like I find that like around 20, 21 is like when people's like just when their music taste sort of matures, and then they just stay there the whole time, you know?
True.
Like it's cool to see that you're still like branching out and trying to like,
You got to,
listen
because
to new things. Yeah,
I feel like musicians,
Mm-hmm.
they don't, it's not a conscious thing, but when you're making music, you're bringing a mentality to it.
yeah,
And that mentality transcends genres.
yeah.
You know, so it's constantly evolving, and if
Yeah.
you're on the same mentality, then you're the same people. You know what I mean?
I find too right now there's just like an anger and like an energy in the world right now
Well, for sure.
that's bleeding into every genre.
Right.
For
You know,
sure.
so
Right.
like you're getting that kind of like energy.
And it's awesome.
It's great, yeah.
Because it's natural. It's
But
a reflection of
I
what
mean,
the
that's
fuck
the
is going
reflection of the
on.
times, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
man.
Yeah, I mean, as it should, right? Like, man, what would we do if music didn't reflect the times in a way? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just be noise, bro.
it just be noise. Exactly.
Fake music.
Fake news, fake music. God, did you see how Kanye was running for president? in
Yeah, I saw that
2020?
this morning, actually.
God,
What's his campaign slogan?
We'll see.
I don't fucking know. Like,
Yeezys?
just yeah.
I
like-
fuck with Kanye, man. It's got to be tough in his being in his position and having all his mental stuff. But you know,
absolutely.
I don't know if running for president's the
I
right
don't-
move.
I don't think it's
but-
the move, especially since he's starting to go and like get into a positive light
100%.
with the public.
Man, it's like the most stressful job on earth, right? Why would you want that for somebody who's prone to stress? Like, it doesn't make
exactly.
sense.
A guy that shouted at paparazzi. It's like, you think getting shit at that level's
you
hard?
know what? On the other hand, if he wants to do it, if he thinks he could do it, you know, it's a big like, go for it, man.
Yeah,
It's a weird world. Go for it.
It's a very Kanye-esque move, just to run
course.
for president. Like, how many months out are we?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little
Election.
late.
Yeah.
Start campaigning.
Instead of like campaigning.
It's like he woke up and he's just like, yo, today I'm running for president.
That is probably what he did.
100%.
That is probably
I had
what
a
he
dream.
did.
I was president. I woke up, and now I got it.
Now I gotta be president. Like it's wild. I guess he's probably gonna end up running as an independent, but like,
Yeah.
man, it's like, God, what a
Strange time.
strange
I'm
time.
just curious
Yeah.
to see him do it, and I just want to see how many people vote for him.
Yeah.
I want
I
to see how
mean-
well he does.
Well, who else? Anyway, let's stop talking about U.S. politics.
Anyways,
Yeah.
let's get off that.
Yeah.
Hey, we're in Canada, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like
It's getting the Canadian ball.
Montreal, let's get Montreal, baby. Damn. And speaking of Montreal politics, who are some Montreal artists that you're looking out for?
That I'm looking out for in our
Yeah.
collective, or that I think are doing cool things.
That you think you're doing cool things?
Honestly, well, obviously everybody in the collective is
Who are
fucking
the
killing
peop-
it.
Who are the people in your collective?
Okay, so we have 999.
Yeah.
That's the more hip hoppy group. Then we have Phenomenon. They're like hard to describe, obviously, but like alternative.
Right.
They have a really good sound.
Right.
Then we have Kato. They're very like sludgy,
Right.
more hardcore.
Right.
And then we have Ginger. They're like
Okay.
the newest band that's
Okay.
been added, and
Cool.
they're like old school rock. It's
Right.
still hard to describe, man. They all have insanely good vibes.
No, I'm sure. Like, oh God, like, and everybody gets along in a way.
Everybody
like,
gets along, and we're doing
yeah.
this new thing. Like, oh, actually, yeah, I don't
No,
want to announce it
hey,
yet.
Don't announce it here.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
But
was gonna say-
we're gonna solidify a lot of stuff, and it's gonna be really.
sure.
We're gonna have a good new
Making
year.
some big moves.
yeah.
it's gonna
Down
be
the
good.
line. Hey, look out for those big moves. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like, but ooh, that was close. Hey, you're good at your own PR, man. But like, how about any other artists? Well, it doesn't have to be in the city like that you're looking out for right
sure.
now. Like,
So I'm just gonna repeat it because honestly, 999, Phenomenon, Kato, and fucking Ginger,
Yeah.
all dope. And the visual
Phenomenal,
artists, we have like TBR, this guy from Thailand who made a shirt with us. We're working out the art section a little bit more.
yeah, definitely.
But everybody should check those people out. On another note, people have been putting on for the city because Montreal is weird where there's a lot of talent, but we haven't had that platform like a Toronto or like New York or LA, whatever. But the talent is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So you have people like a Nate Husser who's fucking been killing it for a long time.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I heard his song recently. Even his boy Chris the Spirit, he fucking bombed.
Crazy.
A bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like Deuce God from Canada.
Yeah.
All those dudes fucking go hard. Man, in terms of bands, Gasm is another band that goes super hard. But yeah, I think there's a lot of great talent, and I think it's about building up that platform now, you know?
Absolutely. It's kind of like, it's really interesting to see, right? Like being from Vancouver and then coming here, because in my opinion, I'm just like, to me, the way that I look at it, like Montreal definitely has like especially when you compare it to Vancouver, I'm like, wow, like Montreal artists have these like small mid-level platforms that are supported by a good number of people in the city.
Yeah, it's all local.
It's all local. Whereas Vancouver, that's been the struggle.
Right.
But I think the thing with here is that there just needs to be that breakthrough, that
100%.
International.
I think there will be
breakthrough,
like Hustler's gonna break. He's been doing fucking insane shit for a long time.
Yeah, his
High
videos are
Classified,
nice,
his videos are great. High Classified does a lot of good numbers. You know, there's a
Crazy,
few key players that
Man,
do
I've
a
heard
lot
High
of stuff.
Classified in a while.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of good people doing a
that
lot
who I
of
think it
good shit.
Yeah, he produced a Future song.
Yeah.
there.
And
Yeah,
no, he's
exactly.
done other things. No, he's done other things. Like,
But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of key players doing a lot of shit, and it's just a matter of time.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
the city has an energy. I mean,
Yeah.
people are picking up onto it, and it's genuine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucked stuff that goes on in the city,
Right,
but there's
right.
a lot of genuine key players who are
Right.
keeping it straight, doing their best to build their own stuff. You know?
Right. And then I think what's the dope part about it is just it just keeps building.
100%.
Every year, and with every new generation that comes in, it just keeps building, and it's like, man, I'm just super excited for the momentum of this city, and you know, to be a part of it. I mean, how's it been? How's the local support been?
Local support lately has been
yeah.
through the roof.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it feels really good, and it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, it's very genuine.
For
you
sure.
know? But people,
Sure.
it's weird. I think it's like this in every city.
Yeah.
People they wait. You know what I mean?
Right.
Until you do something where they're like, oh, okay, and then the second thing happens, and the third thing happens, and then they get on your bandwagon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the real people who are just
Yeah.
they see it from the start,
Yeah.
and they're just like, yo, this is dope. Let's work. I
Yeah.
love that. You know? Like,
absolutely. I find that's like, man, do you think that's just inherently human nature?
Maybe, yeah.
In a way, like,
Maybe.
because I've been noticing that a lot for like content stuff, because it's like when I first started making content, some people will be like, oh yeah, like I really enjoy this, whatever.
Right.
But then just like the more that you keep putting out, and especially if like people like it, I've been noticing people have been like, oh yeah, like I've been noticing that you've been doing this, I really like it. And sometimes it takes like the 30th piece of content
Totally.
until somebody that you know
100%.
actually checks it out. It's
100%.
really weird. And that's why I try, like, anytime, like, oh, Pat, this camera's about to turn off in like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
wanna
could
take a break?
switch it. I mean, we could. Yeah. No, let's take a bit of
commercial
a break.
break.
Hey,
Take a bit of a
Hey,
commercial
we're
break.
gonna-
Grimy Studio.
we're gonna take a break. Okay, I'm just gonna put on a song and then.
Wait.
we'll
Are you
fade
still
it out.
filming?
I'm still feeling
Yeah.
it.
Hey, and we're
There's
out.
no lighting.
And
There's
we're
no
out.
lighting. You can't see shit. There you go.
Hey, there we go. And we're out. Man, that was a great like.
That was,
first-
dude. I stopped.
Go. Hey, and we're back.
Good.
We're back.
Back.
After a little break, you know what I'm saying? Sipping on that Corones.
That virus.
You know?
Tis the
yeah,
season.
tis the season.
Yeah,
Shouts out. Man. But like, oh yeah, like one thing that I did want to ask you about. So earlier, like you did mention that, you know, on your website you have this new section for movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you go in a little bit more detail about that?
For sure. So in the collective, we have
Yeah.
the musicians, we
Yeah.
have the artists, and then we opened up like a new little section called movies. There's
Okay,
only
cool.
one,
Cool.
and it's a short film by Luke Drummond,
Yeah.
and he just became he's the newest Grimey artist.
Yeah. Cool.
He doesn't just do movies, like he does a
Right.
bunch of stuff.
Right.
But this is his
Yeah.
latest work, and
Yeah.
I would recommend everybody check it out. It's 30 minutes, I think. All DIY.
okay,
He did it
okay.
himself entirely. It took
Yeah.
him like a year, if not more. And yeah, it's really cool, and it represents a lot of the youth grimy culture we have. You know what I mean? More or less. Fuck.
Shit. So were you like working with him for a year, pretty much, or was it kind of like towards the end?
It was towards the end, actually. So he had
Yeah.
already wrapped everything up
Yeah.
on his own. He
Yeah.
put together an event.
Yeah.
We kind of came to the event. I knew him. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
like a friend of a friend.
Right. Right.
And we went to the event, and at
Yeah.
that event, we basically solidified it. Yeah.
Cool. I
Yeah.
mean, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to take a look. Like, what's like? Is there like
It's called Only
crazy-
Motivated in the Nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Only
there you
Motivated in
go.
the Nighttime.
Only motivated in the nighttime. Filmed by Luke Drummond Dupont.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it looks crazy. Like, is there like any like motif or theme that like really resonates with the Grimey brand without giving too much away?
You know, honestly, you'd have to ask him, but just when you watch the movie, it gives
sure.
you the sense of, you know, what we're all about. So that's why he's part of it now.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's really cool. And really the DIY. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
He's done it
for
all
sure.
himself. So
For
that's
sure.
what it's all about.
And you were saying he made it like without the intention of being a grimy thing. Like,
100%, yeah.
And then it just
Totally
was like
on
a
his
puzzle
own.
piece and fit and grimy very
Right,
well. and it was
exactly.
just, I got you.
Then we use our platform to try to, you know,
Of course,
lift
yeah.
him up a bit.
Elevate it, yeah.
Yeah.
And how's the reception been so far from people that have watched it?
Good, man.
Dude, it was hype.
Everyone,
When it dropped, it was all over the place.
dude, yeah, the event, had a great event.
Yeah.
I mean, afterwards, people have been watching it. It's a good movie.
I'll give it a watch and like
Yeah, man, do it.
I'll let y'all know what I think and everything.
sure.
But to go back to
Yeah.
I guess like the pre-inception of Grimey
Yeah.
and everything. I just kind of like what's the thing that like to get back to the music, the thing that really sparked that love
For
you?
music?
Yeah, of music. Like, do you remember that? Did you have like
Yeah, I
a
remember.
defining moment where you're like, oh, this is it right here?
I would say I had multiple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first one, honestly, would probably be when I was like 9, 10,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I was really into Lil Wayne, like a lot.
Yeah.
And like whatever the fuck was going on at that time with music.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure everyone was.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I
Yeah,
went to a
for
Lil
sure.
Wayne concert in grade 6 with my buddy
Oh, no way.
and his like 2 older sisters, and it was just a fun time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think I wore like 7 hoodies. You know what I mean? Like it was just a fucking good time.
Was there like an age restriction there or something? or-
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for
Maybe
sure, for
I don't
sure.
remember anymore. I was
Yeah,
like 12.
Definitely.
But I
Oh,
would say, yeah,
man.
hip hop was the first thing that like
Yeah.
that motivated me. But
Yeah.
I always, you know, you kind of feel like an outsider sometimes. You know what I mean? It's hard to feel attached to it. But I
Right.
always had a love for the music.
Right.
Then I'd say like my second revelation would be like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And I really dove into like punk culture
Right.
and all of that.
Right.
Just it really fit me.
Yeah.
And what I was
Yeah.
going through at the time as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And it helped me. So like that identity, just that community aspect,
Sure.
it goes into Grimey, but it helped me personally a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
And that kind of seems like something that you want to carry into Grimey, you know what I mean? Like
100%.
For that like 15, 16-year-old. I mean, they don't have to be that young, but like for anybody that's kind of feeling like they just need that communal
Totally.
support.
And I think I've actually said this word for word
Yeah.
on another podcast
Yeah.
where it's like Grimey is for that kid who's like however old, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, kind of lost, feeling angry, feeling sad, whatever, just feeling something,
Right.
happy, like whatever. And
Yeah.
they want to feel a part of something bigger than themselves and
Yeah.
kind of escape
Yeah.
for a sec.
Yeah.
You know, I want Grimey to be that for those kids.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like was there a song during that like punk phase and that
Mhm.
hip hop phase that like you were just like, oh shit.
I'm like a diehard Black Flag fan.
Yeah,
Like, I
for
have
sure.
it tatted right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But Black Flag, Black Sabbath, and Nirvana were the three bands that, like, at the time was shaping my identity.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Man, I like that's really, really dope.
Yeah,
Like,
because Black Sabbath is like the beginning of heavy metal. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Old
Exactly.
school,
Exactly.
late 60s, 70s shit.
Yeah.
And then you have Black Flag, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like aggression
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then you have 90s, which is like Nirvana, that whole
Yeah, yeah.
grunge movement.
For
You
sure,
know,
for
it's
sure.
kind of like, I actually didn't think about it, but it's every decade, you know, has this little, those are the people for me in every decade.
Things like branch off and everything.
Totally.
And like,
I used
you
to be
know,
super into like Slipknot
Yeah,
2,
for sure,
which
for
is
sure.
right the next decade. You know what I mean?
With
So
a little bit of that new metal.
yeah,
you know what I'm
man,
saying?
100%. I used
yeah.
to, yeah.
You were huge on new metal as well?
Not
Like,
new metal, but
Yeah, yeah.
Slipknot.
Slipknot?
The
Okay,
first
cool,
two
cool,
Slipknot
cool.
albums,
Yeah, yeah.
me and my buddy used to really play those a lot. It just
That
it
was like Dawson
man.
era, right?
Dawson era.
Yeah,
Dawson
that's
era
what
was a lot of
I didn't
how
know who
everyone
Slipknot
met.
was until I met you. I was like, what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
And you were like heavy on it during
Heavy,
like,
heavy,
Dawson.
yeah.
Like when you were at Dawson and everything.
Yeah, like the only hip hop
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bumped back then was like Biggie and shit.
Yeah,
Like very
yeah.
old school 90s
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
and was not super aware of the new stuff going on.
yeah.
And-
Honestly, like that era of new stuff is not my favorite era of hip hop. Like the
Mm.
50 Cent, like big chain gangster rap hip hop.
Oh, true,
early
true,
2000s.
true.
Like
No,
Early
but at that age,
2000?
when I was 15, 16, it would probably be maybe a little older. Actually, you're right.
Was it like
You're right.
was it like 07, 08? Like around that era?
yeah, like when fucking like Akon was a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
I fuck with
06,
Akon, though.
07.
no, I'm just saying like that's not my favorite. Like
For
I
sure.
like newer
For sure.
like hip hop stuff. And
Totally.
There obviously
Yeah.
there's gems
Yeah.
like Outkast. There's so many people who are
Yeah.
amazing.
But like
like,
the X Tentation shit,
Yeah.
like fucking all that
Yeah,
wave of shit,
that new stuff,
That's
yeah.
when it like clicked for me.
I'm
I was like,
not
this
go-
is the same as punk. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, man. Music's hit different the next decade. I'm like
Crazy.
the early 2000s had the 2000s had a great start with the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Just multiple, like just such great artists and great albums and like songs came out around that time. But then it started slowing down around like 06
Totally.
to like 2010, and
Totally.
then that's when
That-
2010 is when you
2010's
start
like
getting
when
the,
you start getting like Tyler the Creator and shit.
Yeah,
Like, start
exactly.
Getting, like,
start
Odd
coming
Future
out.
shit. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly,
Earl, like
dude, that's what's
and
up.
then that started like
Streetwear
snowball.
shit,
Yeah.
like
That's-
that's
yeah,
literally.
they-
well, you
they
can
were
credit them
rocking
for
Supreme,
all that
dude.
shit.
Like, that was
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the same time. Yeah.
Yo, Supreme owes Odd Future a check.
Fat check, fat check.
Yeah, they need to deliver. They need to give.
Fox.
Yeah, they need to give Earl a check. Like deliver one to his like Brooklyn apartment. Like for real. Like this is.
Deliver it to
Yeah.
Earl's mom.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Word.
it's ridiculous. But
Yeah, man.
yeah, I mean, I miss that era. What a great fucking era. You know what I mean? Like with X and everything. Has X and like you mentioned Trippie before. Like
Yeah.
is that when you started like I know you're a pretty big like Suicide Boys fan and
Super
everything.
big, yeah.
Like was that when you started reconnecting with hip hop again?
Yeah, actually, 100%. Totally. I started reconnecting with hip hop because I felt like it was.
Yeah.
It's always had a huge platform,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now it just became. I don't even know the words, man. It had just become this huge inclusive thing.
Yeah.
Diversified a la max. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
There
for
was
sure.
like 50 new genres birthed
Sure.
overnight.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. You know,
Yeah.
discovering all this new shit and like it takes you. For me, it took me a second. Like
Yeah.
not every artist that I listen to every day now.
Sure.
At first, the first listen, I was like, sometimes it threw me off. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was very into punk and I was very into old school stuff.
And what was it like hearing like your first like hip hop artist that kind of
Blew my mind.
incorporated
Like-
elements of like punk, pop punk,
Blew my
in there?
mind.
Yeah,
Literally, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the first
Which-
artist
yeah.
was my brother. He came up to me,
Yeah.
and this is when Dep Wine was a thing. So it's early, like 2015, 2016,
Yeah.
and he's playing me an X song,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Yo, you guys should start doing stuff like this. Like this is exactly like Dep Wine." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he played it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck, this shit is so hard."
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
I don't know. It really changed my mind. It was cool.
For sure.
It was
For
a cool
sure.
moment.
God, what a beautiful time, man.
Yeah,
What-
because
was
I
a
knew you
time.
when there was a time where you were like metal music,
Yeah.
like that, or die. Like
I've always been a Black Sabbath till I die.
Of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like you weren't on that tip yet. when-
No,
yeah,
no,
I
for
knew
sure
you,
not.
I mean, I feel like those kind of things, like take time, right? Like I remember for me, I was just all hip hop. That's it.
For sure.
That's it. Like
For sure.
I'm listening to nothing else. But like I really became huge into R&B to the point where I just like listen to way more R&B than I do rap
Hell
music
yeah.
now. But
It's true.
yeah,
Kind of R&B blue.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I had a moment recently.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all I've been playing at home and blasting at home.
Hell yeah.
But like to get back to the clothing side of things, right?
Sure.
Like how how did clothing influences grow on you, and like when was the moment in time where you kind of decided, oh shit, like I want to start designing things, like I want to create things for other people to wear and to be a part of this identity that I want to carve out, you know?
So
in this
like,
brand.
how did clothing start for me personally, and then how did it evolve into becoming a brand?
Exactly. Yeah. Like how did it start personally for you, and then how did you like decide like,
You know,
I want to do this one day?
Total. That's a really good question. Honestly, I think it was very, and I'm being really honest,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a conscious thing at
For sure,
first.
for sure.
And it was something I started doing,
Yeah.
like randomly taking inspiration from like
sure.
old school punk shit,
For
obviously.
sure.
And then, you know, you start like dressing differently, and it gives you this different sense, this different feeling.
Right.
And then it just, I got what I was doing, and I just kind of went hard with it,
and you just fell into it.
you know. And this is
Yeah.
before the brand, before any of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I was pretty,
Yeah.
not anti-brand, but I
Right.
didn't really wear brands.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah,
Like I wore
yeah.
Levi jeans
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like a random t-shirt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it became important for me to dress
Right.
the way I wanted to dress every day, just because it made me feel better.
Yeah.
You know, and it made
Yeah.
me just feel better. So that was an aspect that like I kind of only started understanding later on, like years after I had been dressing that way,
Right.
being like, oh, there's something kind of powerful about that,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And it didn't click to me at first, you know what I mean? And then when Grimey kind of started going more intensely and snowballing, I mean, from day one we had the Barney t-shirt, but I didn't think of it as like fashion. It was
Right.
just like
Right.
making a sick t-shirt, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? A sick
Yeah.
piece of art. And those t-shirts did well, and I was like, you know what? People always wear t-shirts. When you wear a t-shirt, you kind of feel like you're a part of something, you're repping something, and
Right.
then it kind of just naturally came to where it is now.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
find like so many like genres are ingrained with their look. You know what I mean? Like punk is like, you know, you got the leather jacket and some
sure.
ripped jeans. You can see a punk kid from a mile away,
For sure.
and you can see it like a hip hop head from a mile away.
For sure.
And like there is an intrinsic like meld and mix of
Right.
like clothing and music,
Right,
and it
for sure.
always has been.
Yeah, it's culture.
It's culture, exactly.
Absolutely.
Culture is not just music. I mean, you could listen to music and not dress that way. That's fine.
Right, of
You
course,
know?
absolutely.
yeah. But,
But
like,
if you're,
you
like,
want to,
fully
if you want to live
embodying
it,
the
and
whole
yeah,
thing, you
exactly,
know,
yeah.
it
You can
helps.
like, yeah, I can
And it's
consume
kind of interesting how
pop
all
music
that,
or whatever, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting how all that kind of like permeates through mainstream culture as well.
True,
Like, I
man.
mean, look at the fucking Metallica shirts that like became huge.
Yeah, they used
Like,
to piss me off a
it-
lot back
Yeah,
in
I'm
the day.
sure. I'm sure.
I've gotten over it now. Like, what are you gonna do?
Like probably around like what 2011, 2012.
Yeah,
like,
where they were
was
selling
that-
them in like
Yeah, yeah.
H&M and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Thrasher shirts too.
It was, like,
fucking
every
skaters
day.
went off on that when like
Well, I remember being
Bieber
in-
wore like a Thrasher
Yeah.
shirt. or
I remember
something.
being in high school, like, you know, and I'm not proud of this now, but I remember being in high school, like, all these girls rocking like Metallica shirts with like a slight rip,
Yeah.
and like I just pissed me off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, you don't like not listening to the music.
yeah.
You know, it just pissed me off.
Yeah, no, I find that like
There's also, I mean, I feel like there's also a bit of an assumption there of
Yeah.
just like,
But then you talk to the person and they're like, no, I actually don't know what this band is.
Right,
But then
okay,
once in a while you'll speak
once
to
in a while
somebody
you're
and they'll
like,
be
yeah,
like,
okay, they're like wearing,
Dope,
rocking
though.
their dad's vintage Metallica
great,
shirt.
and that's why you
yeah.
gotta have the conversation,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
can't just
Absolutely,
judge someone
absolutely.
right off the bat.
Now I remember I still have this Goodwood chain of like Wu-Tang, like the Wu-Tang logo, and like I remember this guy, like when I was buying it, like the store person was like, because when I copped it, I was like maybe 14, 15 around that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So imagine like a 14, 15-year-old, like I think I was like, I pulled up with like my private school uniform and shit, and like in the store, I was like eyeing it for a long time, and I was like, yeah, like actually, could I buy this?
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then like as he's like checking me, like checking out the like scanning the chain or whatever, he was like, so who's your favorite Wu-Tang member? And I was like, oh, like my favorite's definitely Raekwon, second favorite Ghostface, and he was like, oh, okay, you know what you're talking about.
You're not throwing ODB in there?
Yeah. Oh man!
Actually, let's run it. Top 3 Wu-Tang members
Oh,
right
Method
now.
Man is third. Method Man is
Method
third.
All right, I agree. I'm throwing
Yeah,
Method
yeah.
Man second.
Yeah.
RZA top just because he has the brains, and I cannot deny the respect for him.
Yeah.
Method Man second, third ODB. And
Oh,
I want to throw ODB on top, but just because RZA
yeah.
is the brain and
I'm not gonna
is-
lie,
has
like
it all.
Ghostface is in the top 3 for me.
Yeah, Ghostface
yeah.
too, bro. How do you? Yeah.
But
I mean,
that-
if
but
we
I'm
had to
saying-
do a top 3,
Yeah.
They are so good though individually, and it pains me that
fucking Wu Tang. Like,
All of them have a gun to your head. Who's the top 3?
no, it pains me because it's like, man, ODB and RZA aren't in my top 3. Like Inspector Deck is incredible
True,
too.
true,
like,
true, true.
But some of my
And
favorite
all the
Meth
members
and
are
Red
crazy.
stuff
Yeah.
is their own dual albums. You know, like the
100%.
Meth and Red stuff.
To
is-
Cal,
Dog.
Yeah.
The Meth and
Bro,
Red
there's so many
stuff.
good individuals. Oh, yo,
Yeah.
one of my favorite albums, Liquid Swords.
That
I'm
song-
sorry?
I mean, that album is crazy. I was about to say song, but that song is like insane. But that project,
Insane.
Oh my god!
I
Yeah,
remember my
yeah,
buddy showing me that album, and I was freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is,
Yeah.
crazy."
man, and like
Crazy.
the amount of legendary material that came out like through solo albums, like Only
Yeah.
Built for Cuban Links,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
like Liquid Sword, like it's nuts. It's not fair. It's really not fair how all these talented people were just part of this one group. It was like they were like Voltron.
It is fair though. They put it together. They form like Voltron exactly, and they just they're fucking geniuses, man.
They are.
Period.
They are. Hey, with the
What year was Liquid Swords dropped?
I have no idea.
We have it right here.
Let's see.
I
Let's see.
forget.
95.
95. Yeah, I was gonna say
Ooh, what
94.
a year for album releases.
Yeah, man.
What a
Kurt
year.
Cobain dies in 94, and then hip hop takes over.
Kurt
Nah, I'm playing.
Cobain. Oh man, he might have been the Illuminati sacrifice.
Yo,
to
imagine
get-
if he stayed alive and then like switched into hip hop.
Oh man. No, rest in peace, Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, rest in peace, Kurt Cobain. I mean, I'm sure somebody has like done a mashup of
100%, yeah.
and like Kurt Cobain, you know.
Well, that's what
So-
was interesting too about the new trap scene, right? They were super fucking influenced by Kurt Cobain's look,
Yeah,
Kurt Cobain's
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I think it's because a lot of drugs,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Everyone was doing a fuck ton of drugs,
Yeah.
similar drugs,
Yeah.
depression,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about it in your music,
Yeah.
it's okay to be emotional and to talk about
For
it
sure,
in your music,
for sure.
and it's a huge influence, man.
Definitely, and
It's fucking cool.
you know, it's really interesting to see, right? Like how, you know, how earlier we were saying that all these looks are so tied in with the music, but it just bled over into hip hop as well.
Yeah.
Like heavily.
Because that's what they were
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's like
exactly,
the look carried
exactly.
through with the message.
yeah, and it's
Interesting.
It's really interesting, and like to see how people identify with it, and like how their identities are so tied with it.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for
it's
sure.
it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, man, it was mad funny though. Like my brother always got so pissed when like people were wearing like Metallica tees
Yeah.
and shit. Like,
Why is he like a diehard rocker?
yeah, I mean he was like now he's like way more chill. Actually, he's like
He's way more chill.
way more chill. No, he's
See, like, let's
actually-
talk about that for a split
Yeah,
sec
yeah.
because I found that too. Like, I used to be a die-hard
Yeah.
fucking punk fanatic,
yeah,
all right?
yeah.
And I think I've said this story way too many times, but like,
No, it's all good. It's all good.
there's this little
Share it.
underground
Yeah,
venue in Montreal in St.
Yeah.
Henry.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the name, but
Yeah.
you go, like, you're supposed to know where to go. It's
Yeah, yeah.
very underground.
For sure.
So, like, back in the day when our band was playing, I
Mm-hmm.
think we were playing that night. Like, I used to wear the leather jacket and all that. My buddy didn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think there was some guy with, like, face tats and all the leather shit, all of that. And he was giving him shit for, like, being there. And I had to step in and be like, yo, like, you have no clue what you're talking about. This dude plays drums in the hardest band that you even can conceive of. And you're sitting here judging him based on his look. Like, that's not what punk is about.
Right.
It really pissed me off,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, that's
So
a
that
shit,
whole it's a real thing, man, with
Yeah.
metal and with punk. It's like,
Yeah.
are you metal enough? Are you punk enough? And it's
Yeah.
like, I get it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, we're in 2020. You got to think a little bit bigger.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely. It's-
Things affect people in different ways.
Exactly. Not everybody has to like you know, be subscribed to like the, I don't want to say the uniform, but like the look of it,
100%,
you know?
man.
Like I remember, God, like I used to, I remember in high school, I used to be that like obnoxious kid about like hip hop all the time, being like, oh, these people don't listen to enough of it, like whatever. Like
For
you
sure,
don't,
for sure.
you don't actually, but I think it's like at that time, right? And like and some people just feel this ownership of the music And
And I get
especially
it,
for
man.
music that like millions of people listen to
For
around
sure.
the world.
For sure.
But then it's like it's weird because
It is weird.
I think it's because like we strongly identify with it so much, then that kind of
Totally.
turns into ownership.
Totally.
In a way, like
Well, yeah, because
'cause on
once
the
you
flip-
make something yours, right? Like once it's like I am punk, this is it.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like
Exactly.
it's hard to let anyone else into that club that doesn't match your
Totally. But on the flip,
prescribed.
it is annoying. Like when you could tell somebody has no ties to the culture and they're
Right.
dressed up in like the full uniform. That's a different thing. You know what I
Alright.
mean? It's okay to have whatever. Like everyone could
It's-
be into whatever they
yeah.
want to be into, but don't like claim to
That's
be
like-
fully
yeah,
a
it's
part
poser
of something.
territory,
It's
yeah.
poser shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna while we're airing grievances, I'm just gonna air some grievances right now. I remember motherfuckers in high school, like, hey,
I remember
Jamie, I'm looking
motherfuckers
at
in
you.
high school.
hey, I'm
dog.
looking at you, motherfuckers. Nah, for real though. Like, I remember in high school, like, people would like.
So you know what? Let's start 10-year-old beef up
Hey,
again.
yeah. Let's start up right now. Let's go.
Everybody, come to Montreal. Pull up.
Pull up.
Here's my address.
Square up. Let me know. I'm working from home every day. Square up. No, I remember motherfuckers would like talk shit about hip hop music and like they'd be like, oh, like, why are you listening to this? Like, why are you trying to be black? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And now, if you look at everything that they're listening to, all the mainstream hip hop shit, like it's wild how that kind of happens.
100%.
But I mean, you know what?
like you
People
gotta
grow.
pay- yeah.
People's tastes evolve.
Hip hop became the new rock and roll.
Exactly.
Everyone
Exactly.
could love hip hop, man. You just
Yeah.
gotta pay respects to the fucking founding fathers of it, you know, and to the
Absolutely.
history of it. Like, and if
Absolutely.
you don't, and you think that you're just gonna swipe that whole history and just tap in right now,
Yeah.
that's annoying.
Yeah,
you know? And
absolutely.
I get that for people
And I
who
think-
are fucking black,
Right.
who have been a part of it for a long
Right.
time, and they're just like, you know, it's their culture, you know.
And then
Everyone could love
And
music,
then to have
but-
like a kid like named Jimmy, who's like, NLE Choppa's the greatest rapper of all time.
But like even that's fine. Like
yeah.
like you could like
Sure.
music, you can listen to a song and be like, this is sick. But if you like it, then like go on your computer, look up that artist, look up where he's from, do that little extra bit of work.
Yeah,
You know what
for
I
sure,
mean?
for sure.
Because you would do it for any other artist.
Yeah, as you should,
You know?
should. I mean, I think there just with music there just needs to be like a level of respect that you need
Just
to have.
respect,
I mean,
man.
yeah,
It's a
don't want
sensitive
to
topic for
don't want to
so many-
gatekeep too much. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? 'Cause,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
We've moved past that point, but I think
Totally.
you know
Just
they-
gotta
they-
pay respect, that's
yeah,
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pay respect
absolutely.
and move on to a new
And-
chapter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're in a new
exactly.
chapter. Shit's not the way it used to be.
And it will never be.
Shouldn't
No.
be.
It will never
And it
be.
shouldn't be. You're right.
Yeah,
Shit
never
evolves
that.
for a reason.
Never that. Yo, if like it was the 80s for like 40 years or some shit, like I'd be so fucking upset. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be so whack. Like we'd be living in like a whole 80s future and shit.
Or like,
But-
I don't know, this made me think of like
Yeah.
Back to the Future when like you.
He goes in
they-
the future.
But like, I love what different time periods thought the future was going to be
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like,
And then you're
50s, you got
actually
like
there.
Jetsons, what
Yeah.
they thought they were the future
Yeah.
was going to be like versus like, yeah, I don't know.
But I believe that, like, seriously, like, to go back on, because this is important, especially with whatever the fuck's going on right now, you know, like, you got to pay respect to what's been established and move on.
Yeah,
You know, not move on, but, like, see where you're at now.
Go from there. Exactly.
Even
exactly,
it goes
yeah.
back to what we were talking about with the
Yeah.
punk stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be a random person head to toe fucking all punked out and
Yeah.
it's, like, their first day in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
learn what you're into.
Right.
Like, do your fucking research and pay respect and,
Right.
like, do your thing, you know?
Right.
Find your lane in it.
Yeah.
Everybody has
Yeah.
a place in everything.
In
you know, just find where
every
you fit.
Single thing. Yeah, exactly. And that's super important, right? Like, and you know what? It's like, and that's what I love about Grimey too, because it feels like it's paying respect to the previous cultures and just like the previous influences while moving forward at
Totally.
the same time. And that's
Totally.
just a recipe of success. You know what I mean?
But what I like is like you don't compromise on aesthetic either.
Never.
Like you're like you
Never.
can fuck with something, but it's just
Right.
not grimy. And you're
100%.
Like, I love what you're doing, but like it's not gonna fit in this.
For
piece.
sure. For sure.
like,
We know
Absolutely.
what our aesthetic is. We know what our mentality is.
Yeah.
Everybody in the collective knows what's up, you know?
Yeah.
And it's hard, man. People, like, it's hard living just as a human being, besides the music, besides the art, besides the brand. It's hard being a fucking human being, especially
Absolutely.
now,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Especially now. Yeah.
especially now, man.
God.
So just people are keeping their heads up. People are sticking together. That's what's important. keeping the community alive, you
Yeah.
know, trying your best. People are low on energy right now, you know, it's a tough time.
Yeah.
You just gotta like, you gotta figure it out for yourself.
For sure.
You know, you gotta take the time to look into yourself and fucking figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
It's important.
Now, how important is empathy and in kind of like maintaining this community and like this level of understanding? Like, have you always been empathetic towards other people, or did that take some time to like realize, oh,
No.
shit, people are out here and they're different from me?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I definitely did not used to be
Yeah.
empathetic.
Yeah.
When I was like, when I was a little bit younger, 16,
Yeah.
17, 18, whatever, I was a little bit more aggressive, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, which helped me at the time, it helped me figure out what I was going through then.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got older, I had to get into this new chapter.
Yeah.
And that new chapter was harder because I didn't want to
Yeah.
be aggressive. I didn't want to have all these different things.
Right.
So you learn to adapt and you learn to change. And
Right.
that was a huge learning step for me.
Right.
But a difficult one, right?
Yeah,
Because you're
for sure.
constantly having to monitor yourself and, you know, be on your best behavior, you know,
Definitely,
the way you
definitely.
want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely my mentality changed. And now, I mean, I try to, you said empathetic?
Yeah, empathetic, yeah.
I would say I'm very empathetic.
Yeah, I would
you know?
say that too. And man, I wouldn't have guessed that you were that angry and just, you know,
For sure.
not necessarily understanding, because like just knowing you for like the short period I've known you, you're just like one empathetic ass motherfucker. And I think that's like that really helps with fostering the community. You know
I totally
what mean?
agree, man.
So yeah, I mean that's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like,
It's an important trait, I guess,
Yeah.
that you got to develop because not everybody has it right off the bat. I didn't.
yeah,
You know,
no,
especially when you're young, you're angry about a lot of things depending on your circumstance.
Yeah.
Everybody has different circumstances.
Right.
People see other people's circumstances
Yeah.
as better than their own. But
Yeah.
they don't understand other people's perspectives.
It's
fucking
hard
complicated.
To. Yeah,
man.
I mean it's hard to when you've only lived life for a short period of time, right? Like,
yeah, and especially when
Yeah.
you feel like you've done a lot in that short period of time. You
Mhm,
know what I mean?
mhm.
People perceive you in a certain way,
Yeah.
and you perceive yourself in a certain way, and you get lost. But you just gotta reel back into yourself. You know?
for sure, and like it's really like it's man, like could like let's say 13, 14-year-old you believe the person that you turned into today? You know, what would that person, what would that version of
Getting
you?
That's too deep.
Hey, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it.
Chug your beer.
You know what I'm saying?
Start the tears.
Hey, there you go. Hey, what would 13?
We're gonna put that on a shirt. Chug your beers. Start the tears.
That is good.
Just be
That
me
is
like
good.
bawling my eyes out with a beer.
Yeah, bro.
Just like a utterly like morphed version of you, just like
Just like the squirrel face. Like,
yeah.
yeah, let's get working on that.
I think 12, 13-year-old me would be obviously very proud of where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
Life is tough.
Yeah.
People think you have it all figured out when you
Yeah.
hit a certain thing. And I talk to other people who are way above my plateau.
Yeah.
And they say the same shit, man.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm still struggling. I'm still working it out.
mhm.
Like, it's not just you hit this one thing and the money's in and you're
Yeah.
golden and everything is good.
Yeah.
Like, it may appear that way, but it's not. There's so much work that goes into the grimy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I put a lot of work into
Yeah.
it. You know, like
Yeah.
I work hours and hours
Yeah.
on it, and just mentally as well. Like
Yeah.
you're committed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And yeah, I forgot what the question was, but
Just how 12, 13-year-old you would react to you. I mean, you said he would be proud, and you know that, and that's the
he would
thing about
bump my
life.
fist. He'd be like,
Yeah,
"No."
exactly. No, and you're totally right about that, because it's like progression isn't linear, and just because you hit a milestone doesn't mean things are solved.
Totally.
Like internal things are solved. Like a lot of times we do when we're just like, oh, I finally did this, but then oftentimes it's like, now what? Especially if you've always had that feeling of like, well, now what? Like, what do I do?
The truth is that there's so many plateaus.
Yeah.
And that you only get when you get a little bit older. Because when I was in the 16, 17-year-old mentality, my band was popping, blah, blah,
Right,
Grimey
right.
was starting.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's it. You're solidified.
Yeah.
But that's step one.
Yeah.
It's good to be good in your city and everyone knows your
Yeah.
band, whatever, in your
Right.
city. Then there's
Right.
like step 2, there's step 3, there's step 4.
Right.
There's so many other steps.
Right.
And there's plateaus, man.
Yeah,
You know, there's
absolutely.
it's like an elevator and you get to different spots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're never solidified. You're never like
You know, each stop you have It's not like there's only one option to go up to either.
100%.
Each one opens
Definitely.
some
You
more.
got to keep an open mind at all
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah. But
I-
I'm saying generally you evolve towards
Word, yeah.
your goal.
Yeah.
You know,
I
if
think
you're
that-
doing it right.
I think the camera's gonna turn off soon.
Camera's going to
Yeah.
turn
In
off.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna come back like right away.
It did
Yeah.
stop. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Oh, it didn't. Okay.
That was good.
Yeah.
Lynn.
Man, getting back into it. So,
Yes.
where's the next like plateau for Grimey? Whew. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Next.
this is something I was gonna ask. I don't want to like totally
Yeah,
cut you off.
okay,
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 so
no,
like,
go ahead, go ahead.
I know you don't want to like talk about stuff that isn't materialized yet, but
Yeah, I don't like talking.
No, I know,
bullshit.
and this is, but I think this is might possibly appropriate because it seems potentially very far off, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say pipe dream, but like something that's is there a Grimey Fest in the future?
Oh yeah, it's called Grime Fest.
Grime Fest. Okay,
Yeah.
it's been thought of.
It's
Okay,
been
yeah.
thought
Okay,
of.
okay.
Was potentially gonna happen this summer. COVID shit.
okay,
You know,
okay.
100%. Yeah.
But it's gonna like because that's like bring the people together.
100%, and
That's
especially
what-
all these venues have closed down because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up in the scene,
Yeah.
you know, and it's gonna
Yeah.
take a second to rebuild. But like I said, the key players who've been doing it for a while, I think if the smart ones will band together and do
Yeah.
some shit, man. There's
Yeah,
gonna be
for
some
sure.
cool stuff.
For sure. I think the city's gonna like rebound.
We're gonna bounce back
Yeah.
harder than ever. 'Cause
Yeah,
Montreal was on a come up before all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and I think you see like with the energy that's going on right now, like Occupy the Hood is still
Totally, man.
going strong,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like
Shout out Occupy
yeah.
the Hood.
Moonshine is like still
Shout out Moonshine, bro.
hosting really cool parties as well, cool
Hell
live
yeah.
streams. Like people are really doing it out here in this.
Shout out
city.
Moonshine.
Like,
Actually, they do
yeah.
a lot of good work. I mean, I know
Absolutely.
the dude who does it. He's a fucking good dude, and he
Yeah.
works hard, man.
Yeah.
Shout out him.
Shouts out to all y'all, man. You guys are doing amazing. But,
Yeah,
man,
keeping this city alive right now, it's
tough.
It's tough work, man.
Hey, imagine
You
if
gotta
you're
keep
I
it
was,
going,
I was in the
man.
plateau last night and like
Yeah, you walking up Saint Laurent, you feel it. You know,
Yeah, man. There's
one of the
still
stores
people
that
who are
we
dying to go do something. You know,
Yeah,
like, we're
yeah,
cooped
yeah.
up for 6 months.
totally.
now.
Shout out
sure.
Skull Central. They closed down
Yeah,
their
shout
Saint
out.
Laurent location. They have another location in somewhere else in Canada. They're doing well. I mean, you know, you gotta adapt. Period.
Absolutely.
So much stuff's closing on Saint Laurent and stuff. And Saint
Yeah,
Antonio
crazy.
shit.
Like no,
It'll bounce back though.
people-
I have faith, man.
I think so too. I
Got
think so
it.
too. Yeah, I think it most definitely will. It's just really unfortunate for the people that own venues. You know, like event promoters. Like
I knew
all that.
people who were it's
Yeah,
fucked up. It's fucked up.
It's all fucked up, and you know I feel blessed that I didn't go down the event like path completely. I was like thinking like because when I wanted to work in music, I was thinking like, oh man, I want to do like music events and shit. Potentially, like I think that'll help me become an A&R down the line.
For sure.
But in a way, like I'm just thankful for how it like worked out, and like events, like promoters, venue owners, people that work in those spaces. Like my thoughts and prayers are always with you guys, like every fucking day, because it must be so fucking
The
difficult.
guys who
Yeah.
work like music tours.
Every tour is
Yeah.
Every tour
a
that
mess.
happens,
bro.
everything.
Trust,
A
like
mess.
yeah, event promoter, like
Eventco?
in March.
Oh my god.
Whoever comes out of this
If
is gonna
Eventco
be
comes
the
out
real
alive,
players.
yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I think Eventco's
I remember, like,
backed
a-
too hard by like major companies. and stuff.
Evenco is backed by major companies.
Yeah, I think Eventco's gonna be good. Like
there's a few key players that are
like
backed
Bell
by.
and shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
like Live Nation's gonna be completely fine, but it's just like the
But that's what
smaller
sucks
people,
because
yeah.
all the small people who were doing the local stuff.
And then that's going
That's
to
gonna disappear.
have
We
the
won't
bigger
disappear.
companies. Yeah, they won't disappear. Exactly.
Never.
Grimey for life.
Grammy for life. We're sticking
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
baby.
exactly.
Mark my words.
Yeah. No, you guys are gonna go far, and like after all this, you're gonna like fucking prosper.
Hell yeah,
I
man.
promise you. Like, I don't know. Like,
You just gotta keep it real.
Exactly.
Like no bullshit. Keep
Yeah.
doing your thing. Like
Yeah.
it's tough times for everybody. Everybody's going through it.
Yeah.
Man. No, not one
Absolutely.
person on this planet is unaffected.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So That's
every single fucking person. So thoughts and prayers to every single one of y'all.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The whole world. But yeah, are there? Well, why I want to ask?
yeah, shoot.
You know, like what the next plateau is for Grimey.
Oh yes.
Because you know the thing with this brand is I can easily see it going global,
Hmm.
and like it already has, but having it more so, like, you know, like having it get recognized in places like LA,
Oh, I can answer your
places in
question.
New York? Like, are there any markets that you want to?
I could totally answer your question.
You know,
I know what
like
you're asking.
get in there. I wasn't like asking for future plans, but
For sure.
you know what I'm saying, like,
And this is still very early.
Yeah.
Like we're focusing in
Yeah.
on the artists that are from Montreal.
Yeah.
We're focusing on building our home base strong, like, you know, solid.
Mm.
But after that, I mean, I would like to build collectives in different cities. So
Yeah.
it'll be Grimey Toronto,
Yeah, yeah.
Grimey LA,
Yeah.
and those are artists born in LA
Mhm.
or born in Toronto. You know,
Cool.
that embody
Cool.
the same mentality.
Yeah.
And then the brand remains the brand,
Right,
You know? And we have
right.
pop-ups internationally.
Yeah.
And say we have our collective in LA. When we
Yeah.
have a pop-up in LA,
Yeah.
the artists from LA will play, and then maybe we'll fly down some guys from Toronto. Maybe we'll fly down some guys from Montreal.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it just becomes this huge community
Yeah.
of like-minded people. You
Yeah.
know, so we're gonna have to scout. We're gonna have to find like the right people. But that would be a plan of expansion. Yeah.
But then to be able to scale it to that extent and then
For
to
sure.
create this
It's totally
global
doable, though.
community, I think so.
Very doable.
I think so. Like, I think
There's enough
you're
grimy
pretty-
ass motherfuckers out there around
Yeah,
the world.
for
man.
real, for
There's
real,
enough.
and it's going to be really interesting to see, right? Because each scene, and like each scene is going to offer their own different sounds,
Totally.
like own different like twists and variations on all this. So like by scaling it to that, it's just you're going to touch way more markets, and you know it's going to be amazing.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
So, man, this is great. This is great.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah, wrapping it up.
Good
Actually,
podcast.
Hey, appreciate it, man. I actually do have one more question
Shoot away.
for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, for anyone that's out there, that's young and in their like, you know, they don't have to be a teenager, but for, I guess, you know, age doesn't really matter in this instance. But anybody that's trying to start their own movement, their own collective, their own, you know, their own brands, what, and they asked you, how do I do it?
I've had people
What
ask me that.
what would you answer in that instance? What would be the best advice you could give them in that scenario?
The best advice I could probably give would be think out your message first.
Yeah.
Focus on the idea and the message,
Yeah.
and the rest will come.
Yeah.
So if you have a solidified idea, and I'm talking about like a philosophical idea of what you want your brand or your collective or your band to be,
A North Star.
you know,
Yeah.
just solidify your
good, yeah.
ideas and then execute. And you could do anything. You could genuinely do anything you fucking want.
Right.
You just gotta figure it out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a hard path, but you just gotta keep going. You find the right steps as you go. You make a couple mistakes. You make a lot of positive
Right.
like mistakes, whatever. You know, you just gotta keep going, man.
Take away something from it, and then
And you
just go.
figure it out. You
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta do it.
You gotta do it. Like people
Gotta do
talk
it.
a lot,
There is
and
no try.
you gotta stop talking and just shut up. Do it.
I think that's
You
like
know?
a really important ethos to have. Just like
Fail.
dive in.
Do it. Fail.
Fail. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I think like that's the thing. Like a lot of people are just scared to fail.
Totally.
But you just gotta, like you said, figure out the philosophy of it, and
Totally.
then execute.
Yeah, I believe a lot in
Yeah.
having your
Yeah.
philosophy down packed. You know what you
That's
want, know
super
what you
important.
believe in,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
execute.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with that. And like, wow, I hope you creative ass motherfuckers out there can benefit from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Pat, any last words
Pat, right?
on your
Free
end?
Grimey.
Free grind.
I'm dead.
Well,
No one of the Grammy artists are locked up. We're all straight right now.
Let's see that. Let's close in on that
Yeah,
real quick
for
for
sure.
the last little moment.
For sure. I mean, anything you want to shout out before we wrap this all up? Like anything that you
Shout
know
out.
you guys got going on? Like,
Man, shout out all of our artists in the community.
Yeah.
Shout out fucking,
Yeah.
you know, it's grimy, man. Shout out everyone who's doing their own thing in the
Yeah.
city,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
putting on to the city,
Yeah, yeah.
who's genuine, who's not about fucking ego and bullshit.
Right.
I really don't like that personally. But, you know, everybody is doing their thing. And
Right.
like I said, the key players, the people who are
Yeah.
genuine,
Yeah.
who are not about bullshit, will come up on top.
absolutely.
Because hopefully
Yeah.
that's how it works out in this world. You know, you never really know. It's kind of a fucked up world. It's a grimy world. But you figured that shit out, I guess.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah. And
Let's
there it is.
Let's wrap it
There
up.
she goes.
Let's wrap it up. I mean, you want to show your stickers?
I want to see the
that you get?
tat. I want to see the
Yeah.
tat.
And
Oh
new
yeah,
one.
should I show
Oh
the
damn!
camera?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see
The
that.
new
I
one.
got it yesterday.
Oh shit.
let's-
Okay.
let's zoom
Okay.
in on
That's clean. Yeah. Let's get the camera in on it. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's sick, man.
11 tattoo.
Hey, shouts out to them. Shouts out to them. Shouts out to Grimey.
Shouts out to everybody.
Yeah, shouts out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Check out Grimey's website. Where can they find you on socials?
So social media is all GrimeyMTL.
Yeah. At GrimeyMTL.
The store is grimy.store, just
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And GrimeyMTL.com is the main website. You'll find everything there.
Yeah, let's go.
And the new capsule,
go.
Stay Away, it should be dropping this month. Yeah, we're
Okay.
July 5th. It's going to be dropping this month.
Okay.
Sweet.
Let's
an eye
go.
out
So
for
yeah,
Yeah.
keep an eye out. Keep it on the
All sales
lookout.
online.
All sales online. We're working on a crazy pop-up idea. Keep your eyes out because it's gonna, we're working around COVID.
Right.
It's going to be,
Okay.
if we execute it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be a real good time.
That's
Keep
gonna
an
be-
eye out.
That's gonna be phenomenal. Keep an eye out.
Love it.
Hey, yeah. Now, great to have all you guys. This has been. Has it been the 6th or 7th episode of the Interlude interviews?
I hope
I don't
it's 7.
fucking know.
I like
I
7.
I like
think
7.
7.
I like
yeah,
If it was
yeah.
6, fuck 6.
Yeah,
skip
fuck,
it. We're
fuck
on 7.
6. Fuck 12. fuck
God is
6.
7. God is 7.
Exactly. Hey, tentatively, this is the 7th episode of the Interlude interviews off of Naoto's Interlude podcast.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, signing
Naoto's
out.
podcast.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Get on that, okay?
Hey, like,
Like,
comment,
share.
share. Like, comment, share. All that good shit.
All that good stuff.
All of it. All of it. So take
Stay
care.
safe. Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe out there. Peace.
Peace.
Oh man.
That was dope.
Oh man.